What's up, guys? My name is Witty, of course, and today we're going to be talking about the best RuneLite plugin settings for RuneX. And of course, this is just my opinion, but they're all things that I've found really useful over the last month or so. And I figured I'd pass that on to you guys just in case maybe you will learn something you didn't already know. Now, obviously, we're going to start from top to bottom. We're going to go ahead and talk about ground items. Obviously, the colors you decide to use for each rarity of drop is entirely up to you. More importantly, however, is this little button here. By default, vials, ashes, and bones will be on this list, but after RuneX upgrading to the new client, all we have to do is check the hide common items button, and we are good to go. All the trash drops are gone, your screen's not cluttered with them anymore, it's a win. The rest of this is really personal preference, like I said. Adjust the colors as you see fit. Runecoin value is just showing the runecoin value beside the item on the ground, and then the rarity color and all that fun stuff. Now, let's talk about ground markers, which is honestly the shortest and simplest plugin on RuneX. All you have to do is hold shift and right click, and you can mark a tile. As you can see, mine is set to red with 100% fill opacity and 5 pixel border width. Obviously, you can change this to say 50. You can change the border width to, I don't know, 10. It's all personal preference from here. I actually pretty often like just running 3 and 50, and then red is the color I prefer, but cool thing that not a lot of people know is, obviously if I change this color now, it will not actually update that one, and I could mark a second tile and it will be blue. So if you wanted to have different colored tiles, that is something you can do. Now we move on to hover description. This plugin simply changes the box that appears when you hover over an item that has a description, such as the Grand Looting Bag, for example, which we can show in the bank here. It works outside of the wilderness when toggled, etc., etc., etc. I personally use a dark gray or even black background color, just so things are easier to read. And other than that, I like to keep the descriptions off when items are in my inventory, so it doesn't cause like some gigantic box to cover half my inventory when I'm hovering an item that's, say, here. I don't know why. Now moving on to interact highlight and key remapping. You can obviously hover over these and see what they do briefly, but interact highlight is essentially just causing this border to pop up behind objects, NPCs, etc. You're able to change the color for when you hover as well as when you interact with something. This will help you when, running to something that's far away, for example. So if I click this imp, I know I'm going to that one because it's blue. Or if I was to click this bank chest, I know I'm going to it because it's red. Pretty self-explanatory. You're able to edit the color for hover, for interacting, for attacking, all that fun stuff. Now, key remapping, I don't really think many people use this. It is in the game. It's an option if you want to. Really, all it does right now is remap the camera to be WASD instead of your arrow keys, and that's pretty much just about it. And now we move on to menu entry swapper. There are a few huge uses for this plugin. Most importantly, in my opinion, is changing the left click on certain items in your inventory to the use option, such as the Dark Revenant Ether here, which allows us to rapidly upgrade cursed caskets instead of constantly misclicking the convert option here. So when you're using them, you can just simply spam click like you're making darts or something. This plugin also allows you to change the left click of NPCs, such as the sawmill operator here. Now, at the top left of my screen, it does say talk to, but I have already changed the left click option to buy plank. So when I do click on him, that's what pops up. I don't have to right click, it's saving one click, but at the end of the day, when you're doing something 100 times, it makes it that much faster. And now we're going to talk about NPC indicators. This is, in my opinion, the most useful plugin we have so far on RuneX. There seems to be a lot of things to break down here, but it's actually super simple once you break it down and try it out for the first time. The highlight options at the top will essentially determine how the NPC is highlighted. So to kind of show what that looks like, we can add one of these NPCs to the list here. So we have Cedrador, for example, Cedrador. And now once I click anywhere else, you can see Cedrador is highlighted with this low opacity red color. And he has his name popping up above his head. Now, one thing that a lot of people don't know, and some people do, is you can actually shift right click him as well and change the tag style. So I could set this to green, and it will default to just highlighting the whole of the thing that you're highlighting. But it is a way to, for example, set different things. If I was to tag all of these guys and then do them in, let's say, magenta, it does it does let you have different colors as opposed to just having the one. It doesn't look as clean, but it's definitely a workaround. I personally use this. You may have seen it in one of the previous videos on Implings. So my Dragon Implings are red, my Lucky Implings are yellow, Ninja Implings are green, I believe, stuff like that. And as you can see, those things are listed here, but I have custom colors on them, so the red doesn't actually show up. Another thing worth noting is that you can actually change the tag style here as well. So I could do the tile under him. I could do the hull, which kind of outlines the character itself. There's also an option for an outline, which is a literal outline. I mostly just experiment with the tag color because the rest I can kind of figure out over here. Drawing the names above their heads, ignoring pets, and extending the click box is all just quality of life things that I'd recommend having on at all times. But that is ultimately up to you. This is kind of just to show you what it can do. Yes. Now we're going to move on to notifications. A lot of people find this to be the most useful plugin RuneX has to offer. I personally find it obnoxiously annoying when I'm usually watching TV, watching a movie, or chatting in Discord while I'm playing. But for those of you that enjoy AFKing things in the background, this is a fantastic plugin to take advantage of. You're able to set alerts for the de-aggro timer, as you see up here, when you encounter a superior Slayer or boss, Slayer NPC rather, forgive me, receive drops of a certain tier, and I do believe that if I was to select, say, rare, it would also notify me for anything above it. So if I only wanted to see exotic or higher, I could only see exotic and ultra. Pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory, but that is how that works, I believe. As far as other things, you can make your client flash, similar to old school when you get a drop. The color for that is at the bottom, of course. But like I said, I don't really use any of this stuff. Evidently, though, it is very useful. I'm just not often enough AFK to take full advantage of it. Player outline is another pretty self-explanatory one. It is just outlining your player. It's that simple. I mean, you're able to kind of give your player a sort of glow effect. You're able to adjust the border width, the outline feather, and of course, the all too popular option when PKing is hide self. If you're in a nature, you like PKing, you often stand on top of people. This can be extremely useful to see what someone's wearing. I'll show you here. If I do stand on top of Coffee Fiend here, I can see exactly what they're wearing if they were to swap weapons, etc. So you know what to pray and stuff like that. But outside of that, I don't really know of many uses for it. I have it on just for the red. That's it. And last but not least, tile indicators. Honestly, I'm not sure why I have this plugin turned on, but it's pretty self-explanatory as well, just like the other ones. You're simply able to highlight your current tile, which you see here. A hovered tile, as you can see me moving my mouse. And the destination tile where you click. So if I was to want to walk, let's say here, you can see that destination tile is highlighted. That's pretty much it. That's the plugin. And that's actually the last plugin that RuneX has now. I know they do plan to add more in the future. I'm not sure what those will look like or what ones we'll end up getting, but I may have to make an update video when that time comes. Hopefully, though, maybe this taught you guys something you didn't know. Maybe it helped a little bit. Let me know either way. See you in the next one. Peace.